Hello, subscribers. Today I do a video to Mr. Repzion, or shall I like to call him Mr. Whininess, have said that he tried to be for 1 month a vegan, but being in reality plant-based, because veganism is not something that you can do off and on, just like you can be pro anti-rape one day and the other day say that you be for rape, for one example. What I want to say is, if you support the meat, dairy and egg industry, you're supporting rape. And the dairy industry also don't try to hide it, because they call the rags where they rape the cows in rape rags. And there's not one term that we vegans have made up, that's a term that they're actually using the term.
Veganism and environmentalism. This is something that I haven't spoken about since the whole vegan gains, I want to slit your throat debacle. But I wanted to bring an update to the people who watched me on this channel that this video is not what you think it is. I'm not going to be arguing against veganism. In fact, believe it or not, my stance on veganism as a whole has dramatically changed since 2 years ago.
I find it so funny that people that do or pay others to do cruel things don't can have one violent retort or any response to their violence. Indeed, vegan gains have a dark kind of humor, and if you don't can handle that, maybe you have to go vegan for real. And that means also don't buy any product that come from animals, from cedar to leather to fur, etc. Because veganism is not only a diet, it's plant-based. Doing a different dark video where I go from carnism to veganism and anything in between.
Then we have plant-based, and that
That I know not
actually
time.
put all products, food choices away.
I think it's a little bit longer. So my very first video I did was like 5 years ago, I think, on veganism, and it's a bit embarrassing, a bit cringy to say the least. Some of the things that I said back then that no longer reflect what I think now.
Whoa! Your stance on veganism has been changed. Yes, that's happened when you do actually your research about veganism. Because there is no excuse for veganism. Because veganism not only reduce a lot amount of harm to the environment and to animals and to other humans. One quick fact: the only reason that they're starving children in poor countries is because the West feeds constant around something like 70% of all the greens, all the lentils, and all the other plant products to the 150 billion land animals in the meat, dairy and egg industries. And they've been estimated from the meat, dairy and egg industry themselves. 2009, there have say been around something like around something like 60 billion land and 90 billion marine animals, and it's been estimated from there. And you all know how all processes work, hopefully. You don't have to be Einstein to figure out these equations.
So I'd like to get it out on a plate for you guys to dissect and scream at and get angry at me with, but I don't have anything wrong with veganism.
Because there is also nothing wrong with veganism. People will attempt that. Maybe they have to place themselves in the position of the animals and then ask themselves the question if there not been something wrong with them. Since vegans, so if I have explained, cause the least amount of harm possible on this planet, it is asking for respect for vegans is Nembla asking respect from people that don't rape children. Or rapists ask respect for their rapist lifestyle. Or Charles Manson ask respect for second-hand murder, or something like that. The responses that meat eaters use seems to me always like the responses that you can get from people in that kind of world of Charles Manson. Some people in prisons murder each other daily, or kill each other on the streets daily, or something like that. And they meat eaters say also some animals murder other animals, so therefore it's justifiable.
In fact, I see a lot of benefits to veganism. I think it is a great, healthy lifestyle. It's not one that I think people have to adopt or should be forced to adopt or be shamed to adopt.
And this is where I disagree. Since veganism is not a choice, only if you belong supremacist weirdo that only live in a kind of vacuum. Because veganism, so if I explained, can reduce a lot of harm to humans, to animals and the environment. It is not a choice. As I say this, you don't have a choice when others have not. Animals be not willing participants. They don't say, take a knife, cut it to my throat, or hang me upside down, put me in electrocute water, or electrocute me in fur farms, or steal my children away, just like Nazis have done in World War II, in concentration camps by Jewish women and by gypsies, and by other people that Hitler condemned. This remembered me on a quote of Isaac Bashevis Singer. In their relation to animals, all men are Nazis. Human beings see oppressing where they are being the victim. Otherwise, they are oppressed without conscience and without awareness. The position with mind is right. Only what you have is temporary privileges. On the day that anybody knows with the horrible crime carnism is to this planet and the environment, and society have evolved, we don't have any respect anymore for the culture of meat eater, just like we now have no respect anymore for the culture of slavery, misogynist, that woman being there for slaves for men, just like we don't have respect for the culture of cannibalism. To understand right from wrong, you have to put yourself in the position of the victim, because if you're not being the victim, it becomes pretty easy to mock all the victims, excuse their suffering, make fun of their entire existence, make excuses for slavery, murder and rape. But when you being the victim, things look a lot different from the angle. There's no excuse anymore for what they do to you.
But I think it's a good lifestyle. I have nothing inherently wrong with veganism. You know, abstaining from dairy, abstaining from meat. If that's what you want to do with your personal choice, and that's what you want to do with your diet, I don't see a problem with that.
So, people have to be forced to be vegan for the animals. Just like rapists have to be forced to stop raping women for the woman. Just like heterosexist men have to forced to be stopped to bully gays and shame them for how they're being. The majority around whole history have to be forced in doing the right thing. From slavery to misogynism to heterosexism, etc. It's always small groups of enlightened folks where it have to start with. All throughout the past 3 stages. First, it's been mocked and ridiculed. Second, it's been violently opposed. And last, it's been accepted as self-evident. Nobody makes excuses anymore for it.
Just be careful on how you spread the message. That's all that really matters to me.
Let us say this, Repzion. There being different approaches for activism. You have two more radical kinds that in the time of slavery being used by Malcolm X, that take a lot of people, a lot of sane people actually, people that can reasoning, not people that only work on ego. Then we have the kinds of passive. We have the passive aggressive style of activism. We have the passive form of activism of Dundee. No activism of from the passive form to the aggressive form work only in us all. You have always to have both kinds of activism to make a revolution. Without force, we have no revolution. Without talking, we have not a revolution. But both parts will not succeed as long as they're not being the other. Actually, in the time of slavery of humans, when Dr. King was asked to stop Malcolm's radicalism, he replied, "X will stop when racism stops." If the passive-aggressive people in the vegan movement be capable of rational thought, they understand that radical vegans will stop radical demonized carnists when speciesism stops. So even if some of us blackmail you or any carnist, I still support that, because vegan gains turned maybe other people vegan that I don't can make vegan, or Freely the Banana Girl don't can make vegan, or Sasha don't can make vegan, or which other animal rights activists or vegan, but been actually the same, can reach.
But more into that, sometime this year, I'm going to be trying veganism for an entire month. So, for those of you who don't know, I did go vegetarian. I think it was last year and a half ago. I went vegetarian for a month because I wanted to see if I could do it as a challenge to myself, if I could really cut out a lot of the food that I eat on a day-to-day basis, and I did it. It was hard, but I did. I went vegetarian for a month, and I felt great.
You will feel absolutely better on a plant-based diet, because by now I see that you not go actually vegan or try to be vegan by only being plant-based. It's absolute now what I think, because meat being actually the cause of all the diseases and can clot your arteries, create osteoporosis, blood fractures, because of the extremely high amount of animal protein, what make your blood acidic, and your body cannot be for a long time acidic, and therefore your body use alkaline material to neutralize your blood flow, and there is only one source of alkaline material in the human body, and that's phosphor. So your body take phosphor out of your bones, and therefore neutralize the acidity. Also, cancer cells grow also best in an acidic body, so it creates osteoporosis in the way that I have explained it, and can also help to grow the cancer cells. Link in the description from Dr. John McDougall, one of the most greatest doctors in medical business. So check that out. And also, dairy is also breastfeeding of another animal. Check out also that video why dairy is cruel and causes extreme amount of suffering to innocent baby cows. And my other video where I explain why eggs are cruel and make you similar like Himmler and Josef Mengele.
This is going to be my next step. Sometime this year, I don't know when, I'm going to go vegan for an entire month just to see if I can physically do it. I think I can, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a mental gymnastic game for me because I'm going to have to be checking all this stuff to see what's in it and what's the materials that are made in terms of the food product. But this is a personal decision for me. Don't worry, I'm probably not going to go vegan. I know you're probably getting your hopes up.
Mr. Repzion, it is actually pretty easy. If I talk for myself, I make my own preparations most of the time. I only spend around something like 50. I live in Europe. Around something like 50 euros any week on my food preparations. And I've been around something like 5 feet long, so I most likely eat more than you. And I also exercised a couple of times in a week, 5 days in a week, biking. Most of the time I eat sweet potatoes, sweet paprikas, rice, of course, with soy sauce. Most soy sauce that that in European that I know being actually vegan, some of them have a bit of fish oil in it, but most not. I think that in America being also not so much. I think there have been also a lot of vegan by accident soy sauces, because it is not necessary for soy sauce to have fish sauce in it, or animal based product. It's pretty easily. I don't know what kind of food you like the most. You can also check out my other channel, my vegan cooking channel, where I have around something like 150 different kinds of recipes in around something like 10 countries around the world for inspiration. Most of them be not hard to make. Check it out also if you have time.
What I want to tell you an update is that I rarely eat meat now. This is my own personal choice. I'm coming from somebody who used to eat bacon almost every single day, coming from somebody who would eat meat 5 times a week, someone who grew up eating meat every single day.
Just like most of the America vegans, so it doesn't have excuse. So it seems you don't have made the connection already, so make the connection. If you only eat sometimes meat, alright then. It is better than to be one totally moral like Furious Pete. I'll make also fun of the suffering of animals like a true psychopath. But it still makes not a lot of difference for them, because they'll be still mass murdered for you. Any meat eater is around their lifetime responsible for the mass murder or extermination of around something like 8,000 animals land and sea for their lifestyle choices. And it only being the animals you eat. There's loss from all the insects and other animals that are being killed to produce the foods that these animals eat. It's not a choice. Humans have to step out their human exclusionist mindset. Their insanity.
I personally eat meat about 3 times a month. Chicken, beef, whatever you want to call it. I don't eat pork anymore. I gave that up. On very, very rare occasions I'll have pork, but I haven't had pork in a while.
If you say that you only sometimes eat meat, that's actually same like cannibals say, I eat only sometimes humans, because I like humans and therefore I don't have to eat them all the times, because I find humans intelligent and find them I found them pleasant and I found them enjoyable. I just say. If you love animals like you say that you do, and that you also, well, actually what you say, and you've not been a hypocrite, then you don't eat them, because humans don't need meat to survive. They're loophole. Vitamin B12, if you go to that criteria, vitamin B12 is a bacteria that naturally live in the mouth and intestines of all animals. They don't eat a lot of processed high fat food. That's this, and use not a lot of antibiotics and other medicines that destroy their national gut flora and bacteria that produce that vitamin B12. Also, vitamin D comes from the sun. So if you have a problem with vitamin D, go and if you have to you've lost on vitamin C, eat more. You eat more fruits, more oranges and citrus fruits, etc. All vitamins and all minerals come from the earth. And if you still believe in the notion that protein comes only from animals, I have a newsflash for you. Any single plant on the whole planet have protein. Even fruits have protein. Bananas have around 5% protein. And the human body needs only a small amount of protein, according to the USDA. Around something like 5% if you eat normal. Most of the days I eat 50. I eat 95-5. That's the ratio. High carb, low fat. And there's no problem with that. It's actually easy to get all your vitamins on a plant-based diet.
Going from eating meat 5 days a week to eating it 3 times a month, I think is a really big diet change. I know people are still gonna get mad at me saying that I'm supporting the meat industry because I still eat meat, and I don't really care about that. It's not what this video is about. It's about that I am reducing the amount of meat that I intake, and that's what matters to me, is that I'm not ingesting as much meat as I normally would. Because also, meat's expensive. I don't know if you go...
Indeed, that's something that makes sense out of your mouth. Because around something like 80% of all the subsidies of the meat and dairy industry also go after all the food subsidies from the meat dairy industry go to animal agriculture. If actually the meat is the exactly price that it costs to produce, then one hamburger costs around something like $40 or something like that. One single hamburger. It's only one hamburger is only from McDonald's is only at a price because of the extreme amount of subsidies. Without that, a hamburger cannot cost once in the whole world €1 or $1. But potatoes, a bag of potatoes can cost that easily. Indeed. So if you have to see it already in the grocery store, meat is indeed even with the subsidies not the most cheapest food on the market. If government cronies have an idea from how to market one government, then stop with subsidizing the meat dairy industry and supporting the other industries. In reality, there's no actually true reason to support the meat industry, because even if the meat industry go away, there still have to be people that want to have food, and there's still been jobs, and there come new jobs, maybe new jobs in other areas. Because that's the job not of we the vegan animal rights activists, but that's the job of the government cronies. I don't give a fuck about the government or their jobs. Do I care about the job of a hitman? Do I care about the job of one mass murderer? Do I care about the job of one child abuse, child pornography maker? Do I give a fuck about the job of thief? No, I don't give a fuck about their job.
Personally, I can't afford it, which is not why I'm reducing my meat intake. It's just that I'm finding that meat is not something that I have to have every single day. And knowing what I do about the meat industry, and I am very, very, as I'm getting older, sensitive to animals. I am loving animals even more than I did when I was younger. I just don't always want to eat them. I mean, yes, they taste good. I like meat, don't get me wrong. But there's certain animals that I don't want to eat. I love pigs, for example. I think pigs are one of my most favorite animals. They're adorable, they're intelligent, and I just don't find a necessity for me to eat pork all the time.
Meat eaters asking for vegan respect is akin to Nembla. North America, man love boy.
Most of the time. I hate ham, by the way. Canadian bacon on pizza is just revolting to me. And I know this may be a bit controversial, but if an animal is put down in a humane way...
I have a serious question. Do you also believe in humane child molestation? Or humane slavery? What do you think from a humane Holocaust? Humane meat, dairy and eggs being just marketing propaganda to trick people in buying products. Humane, fair trades, actually under the law don't mean a lot. Free range means only that they have assets to go out of the space. That don't mean that they actually ever have to go out of the planet, but only that they have assets, that they can out of the place. Free range only means that they're not put in cages, but they can still be in one whole space. And actually, they can still be in one loads. Even healthier, yes, you can even have one your whole apartment full with chickens around the whole ground that you not can even have one food somewhere, and you can still, according to the US government, call it fair trade. I do fair, I mean, you can still call it free range. Meat eaters that believe in humane, fair trade, and kosher or friendly meat, dairy and eggs, being actually akin to Josef Mengele, the nice and friendly German physician in concentration camps that give toys and candies to the children that then, after they have given that to them, use them in crazy Nazi experiments. The children love Josef Mengele. They also call him Uncle Josef Mengele. And also, most people also don't be aware that the general that was responsible for the Jewish gas chamber system, Himmler, actually fainted away when he have seen around something like 100 Jews being executed in his honor. The Jewish library say after this experiment he ordered his men to execute these Jews more humanely by creating gas chambers, camouflaged like shower rooms. If Himmler and Mengele were still alive, I think they want to have a dinner with humane meat, dairy and egg assholes how perpetrate their insane beliefs. And if the force words not show the acts of terrorism that I put on the that I claim to the meat, dairy and egg eating industries and the people that support these industries. Maybe the billions of dismembered corpses of animals will stand as proof. Don't be so gullible to slick marketing social relation lies. This shit don't exist under which circumstance than I ever. See this it's an article of the US Animal Welfare Act. See you? animals that have been placed as food don't actually even been recognized under the law as animals. They have no protection whatsoever. This is not as on one other piece of regulation that shields victimizers from persecution when the Bill of Rights was first inaugurated. Only white men from European descent were protected under the law. Blacks, women, and many others were conveniently excluded out of protection because slavery and slaughterhouses, execution chambers, and all this kind of stuff can be hand in hand with freedom and protection. That's an oxymoron.